It's so good and humbling to see that people find their sense of purpose and happiness at Amazon even during the trying times. And to know more about Amazon India operations, we sit down for a chat between Akhil Saxena, Vice President, Customer Fulfillment Operations, APAC, MENA, and LATAM, and Swati Rastogi, Director of HR, Amazon India Operations, to know of the industry-leading practices to scale presence and how Amazon is creating multiple job opportunities across India, including smaller cities.
Hi, my name is Swati, and I'm really pleased here today to be here to introduce the first career day for Amazon India. I'm happy to introduce Akhil, who's here with us today. Akhil is the Vice President for APAC, MENA, and Japan, and we are really happy to have you here today, Akhil, to talk to us about various aspects of Amazon's building careers in Amazon. So looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you, Swati. It's a pleasure being here, and I feel very excited about it. At the same time, I'm nervous that I'm talking about people to a people person.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing because I think you're one of the biggest advocates of people and processes that I've seen. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you today.
Thank you.
Akhil, I wanted to start with the growth that we've had in Amazon India. It's been an exponential growth, and you have had a ringside seat on it. You've actually watched it grow. We've done a lot for customers, for sellers, for the community. Talk to us about the growth opportunities for people, the job employment opportunities that Amazon has created during this time.
Yeah, it's a great question. If I was to think about it, we have been in India for about 8 years now. We celebrated our 8th anniversary a couple of months ago, and we have seen phenomenal growth in the business. And we are a very customer-obsessed company, so we work backwards from the needs of a customer and build solutions, product, processes, and so on. Along with this growth, to build all of this, we need people. So our philosophy has been to say that anybody who wants to come and work and wants to work in a challenging environment, wants to work in an environment where they can stretch themselves, they can challenge themselves, we have a lot of roles for them. If you look at it over the last couple of years, we have hired hundreds of thousands of people in our businesses. And when I say businesses, I'm not just talking about operations, which is my business, but also the seller businesses, or whether I would look at payments, advertisements, advertising businesses. There are a lot of places where we have hired people, including customer service and so on. Therefore, the opportunity is there. And if you were to look at the kind of people or the kind of roles that are available to people, they would start at entry level and they go all the way up to the leadership level. If I speak very specifically about operations, as we build a network, we have invested in building the infrastructure for the network. And for managing the infrastructure, for managing the operations, we have hired people at entry levels from delivery associates or associates who basically pick and pack your items in the fulfillment centers to senior leadership levels. So whether it is top leadership, whether it's middle management, whether it is supervisors, whether it's team leads, associates, there are enough and more jobs that we have created over the last couple of years. And every month, if you go to our job website, you will see there are so many jobs even open today as we look at it. So the whole mental model of growth is not just for the business, but it's also about how do we provide a plethora of jobs across business lines, across levels for people in India. We have hired people who are delivery drivers, as I said. We have hired doctors. We have hired chefs. We have hired photographers for our photo studios. So the kind of roles that we have hired for is also very wide.
Awesome. This is just awesome to hear, right? I just wonder, when we hire across such a large set of people, there has been a journey on onboarding to make people successful in the culture that we bring to the table. What are your thoughts on that? How do we, do onboarding? What have you liked about it?
Yeah, I think the first piece is about where we hire from. And I think we hire from many cohorts and many walks of lives. I already gave you some examples of the kind of people that we have hired and we continue to hire. At the same time, we are also focused on hiring women. We are focused on hiring military veterans, members of the LGBTQ plus community, and also any unrepresented cohort that might be there in the country. So we do not differentiate. And as Amazon, we are an equal opportunities employer. we provide people the opportunity to come in and work in an environment which is very inclusive. So our job is to see that people who come in and work for Amazon from wherever they come. They might come from a very small town, they might come from a metro cities, they might come from any background. But we focus on ensuring that they have a very inclusive work environment, and we build the diversity. Our customers are very diverse. Therefore, the kind of talent that we bring in is from a very diverse cohort. Once we have identified talent, or once we have identified people who we want, as I said, our customers are also, like, we invent backwards for our customers. So it's a high bar. Our customers are constantly asking for more. Our bar on people is also constantly being raised, right? When we raise the bar, we select people, we work with them, and see to it that they are successful in Amazon. So when you look at onboarding, which is the first step after the interview process, and the interview process is a high bar process. But once people come on board, as part of the onboarding, we ensure that they know exactly what they have to do. They are equipped with the resources that they are required to be successful. And we provide them the kind of culture, time, and space to learn before they go into an actual job. So during pandemic, we have seen a lot of things changed for the country, right? And maybe for the whole world, actually. So during pandemic times, the way we onboarded people, we brought in a lot of technology. We had virtual onboarding sessions. We had a lot of virtual meetings, meeting people, meeting peers, one-on-ones. We used Alexa to ensure that the technology was available for people to ask questions about their jobs, or about the benefits, or about how to do things, how to do travel, etc., etc. So leveraging technology, leveraging processes that we already have, and modifying them to accommodate the needs that COVID threw on us, I think was something that we looked at last year. If I was to also look at it, onboarding doesn't mean that it ends after the first X number of days, maybe 30 days or 60 days. It's also about ensuring that the person has an opportunity to succeed really well at Amazon. And therefore, we have a lot of opportunities for them to have mentors, have one-on-one sessions with their peers, a buddy system. Even an associate who goes to deliver a shipment for our customers has a buddy for the first 3 days, so that he or she can understand how to deliver it successfully.
You know, you've told me when I joined the organization, I remember, about your own onboarding. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I joined Amazon about 8 years ago, and my first few months, I actually spent in the US in a couple of stints of a few weeks each. And I unlearned a lot to learn a lot. The culture of Amazon is very different from companies, and I came in from a manufacturing and supply chain background. So I think I learned about how this company is so associate-centric, how it's so focused on people, and that hands-on learning helped me in good stead. So I did unloading of trucks for a couple of days to understand what's the experience that you go through when you are working as an associate. I worked as a shift manager. I ran as an area manager. I sat through peak calls to see how do you manage peak as a GM or as a vice president. And I thought the learning that was available to me, the resources that were available to me, and the kind of hand-holding that was provided was phenomenal. I mean, I learned so much in so little time. And this company is very open about helping each other. You will find people coming and saying, here's the information that you need, and if you need anything more, come and talk to me. And I thought I had not seen that kind of support systems anywhere else. So I feel very privileged to have learned it here at Amazon. And to learn something new, you might have to unlearn a few of your past. So I think it was a great experience.
And you've ensured that that's continued for all of us who've come after you. So thank you.
I think that's something that's important, and it's also a leadership principle to be about learn and be curious. And I think learning is always a constant journey. So it's always exciting.
Thank you. You spoke about the high bar and how the bar keeps improving at Amazon on people. What's your experience on what we do on development, and how have you seen that evolve?
Yeah, I take my own personal example that when I came into Amazon, I was responsible for running the network, the operations network, and that was comprising of only one warehouse in Bhiwandi. And over the years, I think the company has invested in me, in helping me grow myself as a leader. And today I manage more than one geography, and I think that's the kind of growth that is available to everybody. And I'm sharing my personal example because everybody should be aware that the opportunities in Amazon are phenomenal, right? Think of Amazon as a complex of multiple swimming pools. One of the swimming pool is called operations, and within operations, there are swim lanes. So you could have a fulfillment center experience, a sort center experience, a last mile experience, a supply chain experience, and these are all swim lanes within operations. But if you choose to go from one swimming pool to another, you could just walk across to the other in the same complex. You don't have to go far. So Amazon allows people to come in, learn, move around, rotate amongst different business lines. And that rotation allows them to explore their own personal interest along with what the business requires. So it's a good marriage between personal aspirations and what the business needs. And that rotation is not just limited to anything in India, it's a global rotation that's available. So there are short-term assignments where somebody could say, I want to go and work in an international assignment for a couple of months, and can the company manage that or help that? And we have short-term assignments there. And there are people who have career aspirations to say, okay, I need an international exposure. Can I go out of India, or can I go to Singapore, or can I go to Middle East, or can I go to US? And those opportunities are available. At the same time, it's not just about rotation. It's also about the mentorship that one receives. I've sat through many meetings, and every time I sit in the meeting, there's so much to learn from each other because the quality of talent here is so phenomenal that your learning curve is already very accelerated. When you are sitting with people who have a very high knowledge level and intellect level and have the ability to ask the right questions, your learning starts getting accelerated. And I think that's the beauty of staying in Amazon, working in Amazon. The other pieces are a lot of products that are available for learning, whether it is structured training, whether it is being part of programs and projects, cross business projects. And the fact that you can go from operations to business to some other work allows you to develop yourself in multiple dimensions.
That's awesome. And I'm just thinking, when we're talking of development, this is one organization which is constantly encouraging people to figure out what they want to do next, even while they're doing their current job, which is quite unusual from most other organizations that many of us grew in.
Very unique.
So how do you feel that really plays well for the organization in just telling people, apply for whatever you want to apply?
I think there is so much happening in this company, right? And so many business lines, whether it is AWS or any business that you look at, operations, consumer, devices, digital, seller services, anything that you look at, there's so much happening. There's so much innovation that's happening because we are inventing on behalf of our customers. So we are working backwards from customer needs, what do they need? And that innovation allows people to get attracted to say, oh, maybe I want to go and work in something which is exciting happening in machine learning or artificial intelligence or something like that. The company feels that, look, if you have an aspiration and you believe that you want to go and try something, we shouldn't hold you back. Therefore, it's quite okay for a person to come in and work and say, I want to do something different. And I think the company encourages people to say, if you really want it, and if it's not disruptive to the current business, please go ahead and look at those roles. I was visiting some of my operations last week, and I went to a delivery station, and I must share this episode with you. And I met a team leader who introduced himself, and then the manager of the team leader basically told me that this person used to be a delivery associate a couple of years ago. And from there, he became a supervisor and he became a team leader, and he now manages the station over the weekends when the manager is not there. For me, that's inspiration to say how people can grow vertically. And then the other day, I was talking to somebody in the sort center, and he came in from a military background. He was flying helicopters for the Indian Air Force. He came in from the Indian Air Force, came in flying helicopters, comes in and runs a sort center for us. So there are many examples of how people with different backgrounds can come in, succeed, and move from one role to another without worrying about saying, oh, I'm slotted only for this business line.
Awesome. And, I must tell you on this note that there's an interesting pilot that's going on where we are trying to figure out how could we offer opportunities to people to learn coding if they don't have background in it, and they've joined us maybe as customer service associates, as associates in our building. So we're really looking forward to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, I think we have so much opportunity here. And I think it's a canvas that you can choose to paint with the colors you want. The canvas is there. I think it's up to our own aspirations, our own dreams to say what we want to do. And I think the company helps us to live our dreams. So that's the best part about it.
On that note, I'm just wondering, right? It's one thing to keep developing people to meet our current need, but the kind of growth we have and the kind of size and scale that we operate in, how do we make sure that we are constantly thinking of getting our people and our organization future ready?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the fundamental piece is around our leadership principles. Right? If you look at our leadership principles, we now have 16. People imbibing and understanding and living those leadership principles is, I think, the foundational part about being future ready. Jeff Bezos also talked about that the fact that our customers are going to be always divinely discontent. And what was a wow factor yesterday will become ordinary today. Now, if you have to keep pace with that kind of change, if you really want the organization to continue to be ahead, then you really need to look into the future. And looking into the future is not about saying, oh, I'll do something very nice and colorful. It's about saying, what's the projected need? What is it that we have to look around the corner? What is it that the customers are going to ask for? What is it that is happening in the environment around us? And within Amazon, I think with the things that we use with technology, especially around technology, there's so much opportunity for people to start saying, oh, that's interesting for me. So I know people who have gone from operations into consumer business, and I know people who have gone from operations to run devices operations. And therefore, there's a lot of opportunity for people to look into the things that might be not visible here today, but might be big items tomorrow. The future readiness also comes in from building that muscle around innovation and invention. We are a company of owners and innovators. So all of us in this organization are owners. And as owners, you would always want to delight your customers. And part of the delight comes in from innovating on their behalf. And when you innovate, you learn. When you learn, you grow. And I think that's the best part about it.
Finally, it's beginning to make sense to me. I remember my first day on the job, and I walk into the office, and there's a member of my team who's supposedly doing learning and development, and I come from human resources. And the individual comes and tells me, I'm here for the next 5 days, but I'm moving into Amazon Studio business to run one of their business verticals. And I kind of stopped in my tracks saying, what exactly happened here? So it's really interesting to see what this organization really, takes us to and how we grow. One of the things I've always respected about you, Akhil, is the significant allyship that you've had on diversity, equity, and inclusion. You've been a strong advocate and ally, and you've kind of literally held it personally to make sure that this organization stands for DEI. Talk to us about that. Why?
The why is very simple in my mind. It's the right thing to do. There's nothing beyond that. It's the right thing to do. So when I joined Amazon in operations many years ago, we had just a few women in our operations team. And today we have hundreds and thousands of them, not just in operations, but across the whole business. And warehousing, logistics, trucking, transportation, delivery are all traditionally seen as male-dominated business lines. And for me, there's no differentiation between what a woman can do and what a man can do. And I think that's a fundamental tenet for us. And I think the company allows that tenet to be seeped through everybody. Everybody knows that. We are an equal opportunity employer. So we started on this journey, and I think it's a bit of a culture change. It's a bit of training and educating people to say this is the right thing to do. But I've been very fortunate to have leaders on my team, and you included, who are allies to me. So when you say ally, I would say there are so many more who are force multipliers for us in this journey. Today, we have thousands of women in our operations, not just within our building. There are women who go out and deliver. We have 4 delivery stations which are managed only by women. We have, and our service partners, we have transgenders who manage delivery stations all by themselves. We have military veterans. I'll give you an example. We have this example of Colonel Tarun Vora. He retired from the military, from the army after 20 years. And within the army, he worked in Kashmir, in the valley, in counterterrorism operations. He went to Lebanon on a UN mission. He was an instructor at IMA. And he also commanded a very elite rocket unit in the Western Front. And today he runs a SWOT center for us in NCR. It's one of the largest SWOT centers. And by working with military veterans, we see that the discipline, the passion, the commitment to our customers and their commitment to the nation is not even questioned. Right? It's beyond question. And I think that's the leverage that we have. We work very closely with the government, AWPO and DGR, to hire military veterans into our operations. Similarly, when I talk about opportunities, we are not talking about only opportunities within our own ecosystem, but also our partners. We have a program called I Have Space. We have a program called Delivery Service Partners. We have got a program which is EDSP. So we have many programs where partners come in. And these programs, by the way, are all job and opportunity creation opportunities for them. These are entrepreneurs, small and medium entrepreneurs who come in and they want to do something, live their dreams, and we help them. So I'll give you an example of this lady. Her name is Manisha Gupta. She's from Gorakhpur. And she has been a partner on the IHS program for the last 4 years. She has 2 children. 4 years ago, her husband met with an accident and his earning capacity was impacted. So Manisha partnered with the IHS program, which is basically saying they can, in their spare time, she could come in and deliver packages for Amazon. What started off as a small side business and an additional income now becomes a much larger focus for her. And now with this source of income, she has been able to see that there is financial independence for her, financial stability for her, and good schooling for her 2 children. Now, for me, that's inspiring to say, here's a woman who had to go and do something different, but we were able to encourage her to go and deliver for Amazon, something that you would traditionally not see. And I'm talking about Gorakhpur, which is a city in the interior India. So I would say there are many examples like this. And for us, the ability to change their lives in a positive manner, there's nothing more fulfilling than that. I mean, there's nothing more inspiring. That's yours to keep. Very recently, during Pride Month in June, I had an opportunity to talk to a transgender in our fulfillment center. This was based on a concept of the human book, where you could talk to somebody and they would share their own life experiences. And you would not pass judgment, but you would really try and understand to say, what was their life? And she spoke about how difficult her life was before she came to work for Amazon. She talked about the challenges in her family, in the community, how she had to do different kinds of roles, and they were not fully satisfying for her. And when she got this opportunity to come and work for Amazon, she felt so secure. She felt that, look, this was a place where she really wanted to go and grow. And it was very humbling for me as an experience to hear her story and understand how much of an impact we can make. And I think we are still scratching the surface. So I think all of these examples that I quoted are examples which inspire me to say, if this is what we could do, what could we do with so many more people just doing the same thing? So that's the reason of why.
I love your humility. I know you were probably leading the space in Amazon on the speech and hearing impaired program that you run, and on maybe paving the way of actually having people with learning disabilities join our network for the first time. So I really appreciate that passion, and that makes me come to work every day, honestly. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. I mean, a lot of people have worked to see how we can have folks with hearing and speech disabilities to come in and work with us. They're differently abled. They have their ability to do the normal work, but they're just differently abled. And I think when we started off, we learned, now we have sign languages that our area managers are learning. We have signables that we are utilizing. So we have hearing and speech impaired people working for us. We also have people with other disabilities. And I would say PWDs are people who bring in very special skills. They have their own abilities. And I think we should just continue to encourage them.
Thank you. Why should people join Amazon?
I'll answer for myself. It's an amazing roller coaster. If you like challenges, if you like excitement, if you want to do what you have never done before, this is the place to come. This is the place to come. The company, the culture allows you to invent, innovate, experiment, try, fail. I must have failed so many times, but I'm still here. And we have a safety net to say, if you fail somewhere, to learn and then go and pick yourself up and go and do the next experiment. This is also a place where you build a legacy. 8 years ago, Amazon in India was not even known to most of the people. Most of the country didn't know about Amazon. But today it's a household name. It's a generic name. And it's not as if that everything that had to be done is done. There's so much more to do. But the opportunity to create a legacy, the opportunity to make an impact is there with every single person across any level that I would say. And I think that's the most inspiring part of it. The ability to wake up every day morning and say, I have 5 big problems to solve, and then come to work energized about that. What else? How more exciting can life be?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now comes my favorite part, because I get to ask you rapid fire questions.
Oh, let's go with that.
A movie that best describes Amazon's working day.
Mission Impossible. And then I would say, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
3 words that describe Amazon's workforce.
Passionate, customer obsessed, very talented.
A song that describes the journey of Amazon's package from our center to the customer.
Shuru tumse, khatam tum tak, safarnama.
Awesome.
And the reason why I said this is because for me, this embodies the joy of a seller, the aspirations of a seller, and the journey of the package from a seller to the customer doorstep and the delight that the customer has. I think this entire journey is summed up in the song.
This is a very different take for me. So, it starts with joy and ends with joy. That's
Absolutely.
just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
If you were authoring a book on Amazon's network, what would that be? What would the title be?
Brick by brick, inch by inch.
Wow, that's super awesome. Akhil, it was such a pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much. And I hope there are many more people today who are listening to you who would love to join Amazon and get this opportunity to work with you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Swati. It was a pleasure being here and engaging with you. Thank you so much.